Do you track how many times you spin your records? Well, I do, and today I am sharing the ones that grace my turntable the most in 2023. First, let's take a look at some of my stats. Albums hit my turntable over 1,130 times last year, and that's a little bit down from 2022, which is quite fascinating because I feel like I listen to more. But what does this equate to in terms of different items? Well, I listened to more than 640 different records in 2023, and that's really only about 20% of my collection if you count both CDs and cassettes. Any past videos I mention in this list, I'm going to just go ahead and say right now that I'll drop a link in the description for further viewing. Hey fellow music nerds, it is Andy from the FENSEPOST vinyl channel. If you like videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, then ring that little bell so you'll be notified of new videos when they go live. Let's begin. Up at number 10 is Belle and Sebastian, obviously, with The Life Pursuit. Now, I was kind of surprised that Belle and Sebastian didn't find home on my Spotify Wrapped for 2023, as I thought I pulled them out a bit more. Dear Catastrophe Waitress turned 20 as well, and I'm surprised that is not here on this list. But it is The Life Pursuit which finds its rank here. It's the band's 2006 LP, and I remember first giving it a spin back the year it was released. Having heard a number of people remark that it didn't really live up to their prior albums, I kind of found that I disagreed. All these years later, it still ranks among my favorites by the band. Late Developers also hit my turntable the same number as The Life Pursuit. Late Developers is the band's second album in as many years, following a bit of previous from 2022. Number 9, In the Aeroplane Over the Sea by Neutral Milk Hotel. Not only did In the Aeroplane Over the Sea by Neutral Milk Hotel turn 25 in 2023, we also saw the release of the Elephant Six documentary, which recounted the short-lived tenure of the band's label. Neutral Milk Hotel is probably the most heralded from the Elephant Six collective, despite not having a lot of output. This was really the second and final studio album from the band. And a lot of why this band is so special has to do with the influence and inspiration that it has had on other people. Bands in the collective really leaned more to indie pop. Neutral Milk Hotel was more lo-fi psychedelic folk. I've been a long-time fan of NMH, and I found new love for this album this year. Number 8, Split by Lush. Now, prior to Lush reissuing pretty much all of their studio albums, I never really gave them much time prior to 2023, and that, I am finding, is a damn shame. I added both Spooky and Split to my collection this past year, and I've covered both quite a bit. I also added a 12-inch for Black Spring. Both Split and Spooky reached my top 10 for reissues in 2023 as well, so check that video out. Additionally, Emma Anderson from Lush also released a solo album in 2023, and I don't yet have that in my collection, but I really do hope to add that soon. Number 7, Frigid Stars LP by Codeine. Now, I mentioned in my top 10 reissues of 2023 video, I kind of view 2023 as the year the world found a new love again for shoegaze, and I was all about that. But it's also the year that I saw a lot of fondness come back for slowcore, and I think Codeine was kind of responsible for that. I would say that my love for slowcore can be summed up in about 3 bands. The first one would be Blow, which I've talked about probably ad nauseum here on my channel. I love the band. I was obsessed with Hey What from 2021. It was, I think, my favorite album of that year. And I kind of went down a deep rabbit hole with them as well, picking up a number of their older albums too when they got repressed this year. The second band I would have to say is probably Idaho, who I really don't have in my collection outside of a 7-inch single that I stumbled upon in Fort Worth around mid-2023. Then it's Codeine, which I think really kind of blew that up for me. Like Lush, the 90s era slowcore band also saw the vast majority of their work get reissued in 2023, this time through the Numero Group label. Frigid Stars LP is the band's debut album from 1990, and while I also added The White Birch from 1994 and the live album What About the Lonely, which was a 1993 performance released on vinyl in 2013 for the first time, this is the one that got most plays. Number 6, Blonde Redhead, Sit Down for Dinner. Blonde Redhead is the only band on this list with 3 albums within the range found within. And topping that list at number 7 is their 2023 LP. Early single and opening track Snowman was actually my number 1 played song of 2023 according to Spotify Wrapped. But personal favorites on the album actually are the second single, which is Melody Experiment, the track Before, and the duo title track, Sit Down for Dinner, parts 1 and 2. Sit Down for Dinner was Blonde Redhead's first album since 2014's Bargain, and I truly believe it's their best since 2007's 23, or even 2000's Melody of Certain Damaged Lemon. Speaking of, both 23 and Melody of Certain Damaged Lemons came within 1 spin of Sit Down for Dinner, so Blonde Redhead hit my turntable quite a bit last year. 23 also dethroned Kevin Werby's 2020 LP, Sundowner, as the number 1 spun album of all time in my collection. Before I leave Blonde Redhead, I'll toss out one more thing, and it's not really related to vinyl, but it is a well-known track off of Melody of Certain Damaged Lemons. The song For the Damaged Coda, which gained acclaim for being kind of the evil Morty soundtrack in Rick and Morty, was reworked and re-released by the band digitally last year. While it's not on vinyl yet, I do hope it gets B-side presence at some point. Number 5, if you know my channel and you follow me, you might know I'm a pretty big fan of Built to Spill, and I've been a fan of theirs since the 1997 album Perfect From Now On. And it does get a shout out on this list, matching the number of spins I gave both Belle and Sebastian albums. But it is their 2022 release, When the Wind Forgets Your Name, that comes in at number 5. This album was among my favorites from 2022, getting pretty high on my favorite albums for that year, and it dominated my turntable quite a bit in 2023, thanks to how late it dropped, and thanks to one big milestone. Back in April 2023, I finally saw Built to Spill live for the first time, and while frontman Doug Marsh has changed the lineup of the band over the years, I was quite pleased to see them perform a wide range of tracks spanning pretty much all of their albums. Of course, they leaned heavily into a lot of what you find on When the Wind Forgets Your Name, but they also dropped in Stop the Show from Perfect From Now On, and wrapped up with Broken Chairs off of Keep It Like a Secret. Number 4. Now, there are albums you discover years after their release that just connect with you, and one of those for me is Tired of Tomorrow by Nothing. Not only is this on a really cool, what they call Pink Baby / Bone White Merge vinyl, it's also hits all the sweet shoegaze spots. Now, I didn't really get this or check this album out until 2023. And despite a 2016 release year, I frequently see this on top shoegaze albums of all-time countdown lists, and it's easy to hear why. It's definitively a Resurgence album, obviously, but when it comes to comparing to classics like Loveless and Souvlaki, it's still up there. I'd really argue that it's probably one of the best shoegaze Resurgence albums out there, especially when honing in on new bands and not just reformed ones from the original era. Number 3, Continue as a Guest by the New Pornographers. Alright, so I went down a pretty big rabbit hole with the New Pornographers in 2023. The Canadian supergroup featuring Dan Bayer of Destroyer and the well-known solo acts of AC Newman and Nico Case may have dropped Bayer for the majority of the 2023 album Continue as a Guest, outside of the opening track Really Really Liked. But the album really just resonated with me. Their sound is probably most likened to power pop, and you definitely get that here. In addition to Continue as a Guest, which found a welcome home in my top 10 albums of 2023. Where? Well, you'll have to watch that video to find out. This band's 2007 album, Challengers, was also repressed last year. This one has long been a favorite of mine, and I've had it on my want list forever too, so I gave it quite a few spins this year. Number 2, The Comforts of Madness by Pale Saints. Like Frigid Stars LP by Codeine, in 1990, The Comforts of Madness was released as the debut album by shoegaze band Pale Saints, and I absolutely became obsessed with it in 2023. Insofar as the best early shoegaze albums are concerned, I think this release by the Pale Saints is often tragically overlooked in terms of how high it gets ranked. To me, it's an easy top 5. My copy right here is the 2020 reissue on black vinyl, which was remastered. I've only listened to the original mastering digitally, doing a side-by-side comparison. Really kind of shows you how much the songs within were adjusted and updated. I'm not quite sure which I prefer too. They're both pretty good. I'll also throw out there that their follow-up, In Ribbons, from 1992 was reissued in 2023. It was remastered as well and pressed to black vinyl, but I got the deluxe remastered pressing on clear wax with both kind of like that LP and this unreleased sessions from 91 and 92. Good stuff. You'll have to check out my recent haul video for that one. And that brings me to number 1. I've teased this one ad nauseum. I mean, I'm wearing the shirt. And I teased it on Instagram not too long ago as well. So if you like this kind of stuff, if you're following my channel, check me out over there. My resolution for this year is to actually get a little bit more active on the FENSEPOST Instagram channel. So here it is. Early Songs by Voxtrot is really a compilation, a reissue of the band's first 2 quite heralded and critically acclaimed EPs. You've got Raised by Wolves from 2005 and Mothers, Sisters, Daughters, and Wives from 2006. I've been obsessed with both of these EPs since their original release, having discovered the former when the band landed it on my desk as a promo while a DJ at KZUU in Pullman, Washington in the fall of 2005. I'm very much hoping to catch them this year when they come to Dallas in a few months. And they've been working on some new material too since reuniting in 2022 after a, 12, 13-year hiatus. I cannot wait to hear what this band has in store for us in 2024. That's it. That's my list of top albums I have played in 2023. And if you want to see my all-time top played list, you can check out this video right here. It's changed a little bit, and I may do an update here at some time later this year. So stay tuned for that. I am Andy. This is the FENSEPOST Vinyl channel, and I'll see you in the next video.